Hi, welcome to Juice Bar. Today we're going to answer the question, is it better a brown derby or a de rigueur cocktail? Brown derby and de rigueur cocktail are both cocktails from the 1930s and both are based on whiskey, grapefruit juice and some sort of sugar. The de rigueur cocktail appears in Henry Craddock's Savoy Book of Cocktail, which is one of the great classics, while the brown derby was invented sometimes in the 1930s in Hollywood. Let's start mixing from the brown derby. For the brown derby we're gonna need some bourbon, and I'm gonna use these maker marks which I just got. I'm opening it right now. I never tried it, so first of all let me just get a sip of this. Apparently Maker's Mark is a wheated bourbon, just from the same family of bourbons as the Puppy. If you ever heard the Criminal podcast, which is really good, and or you watch the documentary on Netflix about the Puppies Van Winkle, those are also wheated bourbons. Wheated bourbons means just that in the mash bill, instead of having corn primary and then rye and barley, we have corn, then wheat and barley. Let me just give it a quick taste. I never tried it before. Smells really good. Really bourbony and really from Kentucky. Yeah, it's a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, which means it's aged more than 2 years. At first smell, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between this and one of my usual Kentucky straight bourbon, like the Old Grandad. Maybe Old Grandad is a bit more spicy, but more spicy on the taste. Fairly sweet, really pleasant. Pretty good bourbon, comes at 45%, so a bit more than the base of 40. And let's get down to mixing. So the brown derby, the sugar is gonna be maple syrup. 10 milliliters of maple syrup. Ooh. I love maple syrup. It's so freaking delicious. And then we go on with 30 milliliters of grapefruit juice. I just pre-squeezed a bit just a few minutes ago. It's pink grapefruit, 30 milliliters. And then we're gonna go with our Maker's Mark, 45 milliliters. So let me recycle the drop there. Nice sound. And that's about it. Let's give this bad boy a shake with some ice. Let's double strain in our coupe. And there you go. We could decorate with some grapefruit zest, but I ran out of grapefruit, sorry. So this is gonna be it, a brown derby. I'm just gonna give it a sip right away, and then we're gonna do more of a comparison later. Cheers. Nicely balanced, spicy, but sweet. I think Maker's Mark is pretty sweet whiskey, because we only had 10 milliliters of sugar, but the overall mix is kind of sweet. Good, but sweet. Let's go on with our de rigueur cocktail. And in this case, the sugar is going to be honey syrup. I added some honey, which was a bit crystallized, so I added a drop of water and warmed it up just to making it really runny. And 22.5 milliliters of this. Then 22.5 milliliters of grapefruit juice. And then 45 milliliters of blended scotch. And I got a blended scotch now. I got this Dewar's Illegal Smooth, which is Dewar's that's been finished in mezcal barrels. And it's extremely tasty. I love it. It has a really nice hint of smoke from the mezcal. And it's way better than the price will suggest. Anyway, we're gonna use 45 milliliters of this Dewar's Illegal Smooth. Let's give it a shake with some ice. Let's double strain in our chili soup. And we are done. A de rigueur cocktail. In Italian we say di rigore. Actually, when we drink something just in one sip. I don't know if it's the same etymology, but anyway, I'm not gonna drink this in one sip. Cheers. The honey smell comes forward. So let's put the de rigueur on this side, next to the Dewar's, and we put the brown derby on this side, next to the Maker's Mark. And let's go over one more round of tasting. Spiciness of the bourbon comes forward, but also a bit sweet, and no smell. They are both a bit too sweet for me. I would cut on the sugar a bit. I prefer the Scotch one because it has a hint of smoke. It has the flavor of the honey, which is more pronounced. And I don't mind the spiciness of the brown derby. But on one side, the maple flavor doesn't really come up. It just mellowed out by the grapefruit juice. I don't know, it doesn't convince me for some reason. It's not bad. I would really rather have a blinker. Blinker which has rye, grenadine and grapefruit. Actually, I think the blinker is just superior to both of these. But if I had to choose, I will choose the de rigueur. Possibly slightly less honey. Could even use a bit more peat. Should I just do it? Let's do it. So there you go. Let's mix a slight variation on the de rigueur. I'm gonna start with the honey syrup. Actually, we're a bit short on 15. Maybe these are 10. Okay, 10 milliliters of honey syrup. Then 22.5 milliliters of grapefruit juice. Then we're gonna go with 45 milliliters of the Dewar's Illegal Smooth. And we are gonna add on a teaspoon of this Bunnahabhain single cask from 2013. It got bottled 8-year-old, and it's a heavily peated Bunnahabhain, which makes it a Strauischer, some name like that. Let's do just a teaspoon because this stuff is pretty powerful. And it comes at more than 53.5. Let's give this a shake. Let's double strain our chill coop, and I can already smell the smoke from the peat. And there you go, a slight variation on the Rigueur with a bit more peat. Cheers. The honey flavors a bit disappeared in the process, but we get a bit more peat and a bit more whiskiness. More whiskey is good. Yeah, this was more flavorful with the honey. This one is a bit more intense and a bit more peat. But didn't convert me to the cause of the Rigueur / Brown Derby. Still think I prefer a blinker. Maybe we should do a challenge with a blinker, but not now because I'm getting wasted. So hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, share, do whatever you want, shake yourself a drink, and hopefully I will see you next time. Cheers! No, ISO auto, perché ISO auto? No, 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 no. Tutto sbagliato. Fermiamo, fermati.